G'day, it's Pete here, and I'm back for a featured lesson. Today I'm going to be talking all about deducing declarer's line of play. So things I'll sort of cover today is, firstly, I'll do a brief cover of how we actually make a plan, because you have to understand the fundamentals of that before you can start deducing declarer's line of play. But as soon as declarer does something, what we're trying to do is work out why didn't they do something else first, and what can that tell us, A, about their hand, or B, about partner's hand, and build a bigger picture about what's actually going on. Okay, so first of all, when declarer is making a plan, we'll talk about suit contracts first. What they usually do is they've got three techniques to get rid of losers. They can either take finesses, they can dump them, so they can set up a side suit, they can throw their losers away and discard their losers, or otherwise they can trump them. Okay, they're three general techniques that they're going to try and use, and you want to try and work out which of those they're doing. But also they've got this other sort of counter dilemma that they have to do, which is, do I draw trumps first or do I draw trumps later? And usually their go-to thing is to draw trumps first. But when they don't draw trumps first, there's a lot of information that can be gathered about why they didn't draw trumps first. I'll talk a little bit more about that later. So anyway, when we're trying to deduce declarer's line of play, what we want to do is check out, which technique are they trying to use, and are they doing that before or after drawing trumps, and why are they doing it that way? What does it tell us about their hand? Next thing we want to do is, when we see dummy, we might go, okay, well, it looks like we actually declarer would want to use this technique, but they're not using that technique. Okay, so maybe dummy's got a singleton somewhere, and you're like, okay, so if I was declarer, I would usually just be trying to trump some losers. But if they're not doing that, why are they not doing that? Okay, so that's the second one. Okay, so first one, they're doing some method, but you're trying to work out why they are drawing trumps first or not drawing trumps first. The second method is that there looks to be an obvious method that they should be taking, but they don't take it. And then you have to work out, why aren't they taking that, and what's that tell you about the hand? So there are a couple of things that we'll do. So I'll give an example hand, and then I'll talk a little bit more. Okay, so here we've just got a pretty rubbish hand, and the opponents bid like this. So the robots actually bid this method. I'll just explain what their methods mean. Okay, so it went 1 spade, 2 no trumps, 3 clubs, 4 spades. So 2 no trumps was 4 card support, game forcing hand, 3 clubs showed a singleton or void club, and then they said 4 spades. Okay, so you just choose to lead a heart, and dummy comes down with this. Okay, so here declarer's just got this really flat hand, and they win like this. So they get to win the queen of hearts, and then they play another heart. So I'll stop here and let you try and work out, what do you think's actually going on? So first of all, why is declarer playing a heart back straight away? What are they about to do? Well, first of all, what technique are they using? They're using the dump technique. You haven't actually seen them do it, but they're clearly trying to throw away a loser straight away. Okay, so if they're trying to get rid of a loser, okay, they're about to play the third heart and discard a loser. So 2 questions. Why didn't they draw trumps first? And what's it tell you about their general losers that they're going to throw away? Okay, so first of all, why didn't they draw trumps first? Okay, they've got the ace of spades, but usually it's safer to draw trumps and then do the dumping. Okay, if you don't do that, it means that you've usually got a loser in spades, because you're worried that the opponents will get in, and then they will be able to cash their winner. Okay, so if they're doing it this way, it means that they've probably got a loser in spades. This is a bigger inference against better declarers, Poor declarers often just, say, oh my god, I can get rid of my losers, and don't contemplate drawing trumps first. But what you can usually do against good declarers is, if they can draw trumps first, they will. When they don't, it means they've probably got a loser in the trump suit, which means that our partner obviously has a spade on her, because our jack is completely useless. It's not going to win a trick. But also more to that is our partner's probably got the king of spades, because if declarer had, say, king to 5 spades, they'd cash the ace of spades, cash the king, and go, oh, okay, I'm losing to the queen or whatever. But if they're missing the king of spades, they might not know what they want to do in the spade suit. They might have been able to cash the ace first, but the king of spades in partner's hand will worry them more. Okay, so that's the first thing that you can try and work out from declarer's line of play. Our partner actually has a spade card. The second thing we can work out is that declarer has what I call immediate losers. Okay, which means that if we get in, we're going to be cashing those tricks straight away. Now, we can see that we've got that ace of clubs to cash, so that's pretty obvious for us, but our partner could work out that we have the ace of clubs based on declarer's line of play. So what I'm trying to get at here is, let's say, ignoring the bidding, declarer had, say, ace third club. Yes, they have a deep club loser. They'll be able to lose the third round of clubs. But they could draw trumps first because they've got the ace and the king that's protecting them. We can't get to our winners straight away. They don't have any immediate losers. We won't have any immediate winners if they had the ace third club or things like that, where the club loser they're trying to throw away is slow. Whereas when we have immediate winners, then declarer has to rush to try and get rid of their losers straight away. So declarer plays a third heart and throws a club away. That's what he expected. So these are the sorts of things that we can generally infer from it. So I'll open it up and give a bit more explanation. So the things here that we're discussing. Firstly, what technique was declarer using? Here they were using the dump technique to throw away clubs. The second question we wanted to ask ourselves is, why didn't they draw trumps first? Because it would be safer to play the ace of spades and king of spades, then go the dump technique to make sure the ace of hearts doesn't get knocked off. But they didn't do that, and the reason that good declarers won't do that is because they have some issue in the trumps, and they can't afford to draw trumps first. Okay, so here they couldn't afford to play ace of spades and another spade because we get in with our king and we get our club trick. So that doesn't work. So the first thing we can deduce is our partner actually has a spade card. The next thing that you can work out is that declarer's got immediate losers that they have to get rid of. Okay, so when you count your losers, some of them are immediate, which means the opponents can take straight away, and some of them are slow, and they can't take them straight away. For example, this club ace is immediate, we can already take that straight away. Declarer would also count the spade king as a loser, but we can't take it straight away. So if they let us in a different suit, we can't get our spade king straight away. So that one's slow, but if they play on spades, it's going to become a immediate loser. Okay, and what I'm trying to get at here is, if declarer rushes to discard losers, it means that they have immediate losers. Otherwise, they can draw trumps, let us try and knock something out, even if we get in with the trump suit, and then they can play on that, get rid of their slow losers. So it's all a bit about timing is what I'm trying to emphasize here. So this was one example of when they made a plan and what can you deduce from it. Okay, so let's give another example of this. Okay, so here goes pass, pass, one spade, we pass, and it goes what actually happened at the table, I'll just bid this. This was a real hand from the weekend. Okay, so they get to 4 spades. Okay, and it goes King of Diamonds lead. Dummy tracks with this, and it goes like this. Alright, so they win the Ace of Diamonds. Okay, that's a start at least. But then partner doesn't continue a diamond. So first of all, what can we work out from what partner's doing is that they've actually got the singleton Ace of Diamonds. If our partner had Ace Doubleton Diamond, they'd return a diamond to us to play a 3rd diamond to give them a ruff. If they had Ace 3rd Diamond, they wouldn't actually need to overtake it. So we now know that the layout of the diamond suit is singleton Ace here. And partner actually switched to a trump. Okay, and Declarer wins. Okay, and now leads a low club to the Jack and Queen. Alright, and partner plays another spade. Okay, so what's going on here? So why did Declarer play the club finesse or club to the Jack before drawing trumps? So this one's a bit different. Okay, so first of all, we know that they have one more immediate diamond loser, but that's not, we can't get to it yet. Why didn't they draw trumps before taking a club finesse? So I'll just play it out a little bit more of what actually happened. They won, and they now cashed the King of Clubs. Okay, so this play is kind of pretty weird. Okay, so they have King of Clubs and they took a club finesse, but there doesn't seem to be any reason for them to try and rush to take that club finesse. They had good spades, so that wasn't an issue. So they could have drawn trumps and then played King of Clubs and taken a club finesse. What could go wrong? Okay, so let's just stop and try and work out what's going on with this really weird line of play. So the technique they were trying to use was to take a finesse, but why didn't they draw trumps first? Well, what you can work out is they're also trying to combine this technique with trying to dump. If they had something like King 3rd Club and they just needed to take a club finesse, they could draw trumps and play King of Clubs and a club to the Jack. Okay. The reason they didn't do this is they've only got 2 clubs. Okay. And what's strange is the entries to the West hand are pretty few, so they need that Queen of Spades as an entry. So this is one of the ones I didn't actually discuss, but when Declarer does strange things when they've got good trumps, one of the reasons they might not do this, I'll just list the reasons why you don't usually draw trumps straight away. One is you might lose a trump trick, so that was what happened, the possible thing on the first hand. The second one is you want to use the trump technique and use the trumps in the short hand to try and ruff some losers. So that's another reason you don't draw trumps. The third main reason you don't draw trumps is about entries, and you might need to use those entries to time them a bit differently. There are some more reasons that you don't draw trumps straight away, but they're the main ones. Other ones, like you need to maintain trump control and work on a side suit or something like that. But the first 3 are the main 3 that actually come up, and you can usually infer a fair bit about it. Okay, so they cash the King of Clubs, and if we run through the reasons of why they didn't draw trumps, no, they don't have a spade loser, so that's not their issue. No, they're not trying to trump anything in the short trump hand, so the third issue must be the entries. Okay, so they're the common ones. You run through, work out which one it is. So they obviously want that Queen of Spades as an entry, and they want it to be able to get to that Ace of Clubs, which is a winner to throw something away. Okay, so what can we infer about the hand? Firstly, they don't have an entry in another suit. Okay, if they had an entry in a different suit, say the Queen of Hearts, then it would be nice and safe for them to just draw all the trumps, play king of clubs, take a club finesse, and then be able to get to the heart queen. So they don't have an entry with the queen of hearts. So this means our partner actually has an honor in hearts. Okay, so we can start deducing things about our partner's hand based on Declarer's line of play. Okay. Also, Declarer has some losers to throw away because they played the club suit really weirdly, and what they actually want to do is throw a loser away on the ace of clubs, like this. Alright, so they threw a heart loser away, so we now know our partner still has a winning heart, but our partner didn't cash top hearts straight away, so it was probably a slower loser. So if our partner had the ace of hearts, they might have considered cashing the ace of hearts. No guarantee there, but it's one possibility that they were going to do that. Anyway, there were just a few things that we could deduce about this hand. So I'll open it up again, let you see the whole hand, and just backtrack a bit so you can see it from the start. Okay, so we led the king of diamonds to the ace, and Clara took a club finesse straight away before drawing trumps. Okay, so what you have to try and deduce from this line: why didn't they draw trumps straight away? So our partner won and switched to a spade, and it went up like this. Okay, so firstly, our partner's probably not leading away from the king of spades, and also Declarer might let that run to the queen if that was the case. So they don't have trump issues when they do this. So we don't have trump tricks. The next thing you want to think is, are they trying to trump things in the short trump hand? And the answer here is no, they're not trying to trump anything. So the third one is entries. Once you realize that they've got an entry issue, then you can decide, well, they don't have an entry with the queen of hearts, so our partner's got a heart card. And you can do things like this. As soon as the Declarer starts doing some strange things, you can infer more about the other cards. Alright. Another example. Alright. So we lead a club, and Declarer plays low. They win the queen, and they play another club straight back. Okay, so this one's similar to the first one. Alright, so they're in four spades, so what do we want to infer? Okay, so why aren't they drawing trumps first? So this is the first thing that you want to think, because usually you'd think that, yep, we'll draw some trumps first. They're not doing that. They're playing clubs straight away. So firstly, we want to go through what technique are they trying to do to get rid of their losers. By playing a club straight away, it looks like they're trying to do the dump technique again. It doesn't really look like they're trying to trump anything, and they're not taking any finesses. Okay, so they're trying to do the dump technique, and they're also doing this before drawing trumps. So again, what can we infer about what's going on in the hand? So let's look at the reasons why won't they draw trumps. Okay, firstly, they're trying to trump something in the short trump hand. That doesn't really look like that's the case here. Secondly, might need entries between the hands. That west hand is really strong, has lots of entries, so that is not the case. The third one is that they have a loser in the spade suit and don't want to relinquish the lead straight away. Okay, that looks like the promising one there. Okay, so you'd think that our partner has a winner in the trump suit. Now again, if East had, say, the king of spades, they'd cash the ace and then lead low to the king, because if trumps are 2-2, they can then dispose of their losers this way. So straight away we know that East doesn't have the king of spades, and in fact our partner does. Alright, so we've worked out something about the trump suit. just on the fact that declarer is playing clubs. The next thing we want to deduce is declarer is going to try and dump losers. Now, because they're doing this before playing on trumps, they can't handle letting us in to cash our immediate winners. But looking at our hand, we don't have any immediate winners in our hand, and it's not in diamonds, so our partner must have something, okay? Because if declarer is only worried about, say, losing to the king of hearts, they could play a spade and a spade, draw some of the trumps, and if they had the ace of hearts, get in with the ace of hearts, draw all the trumps, then dispose of their heart losers. Because they're doing this straight away, it means that they should have immediate losers, and the only suit that they can have immediate losers in is hearts, and this means that our partner has the ace of hearts. Okay. So declarer could play like this, and I'll open it up. As you can see, our partner does have the ace of hearts, our partner does have the king of spades. These are some of the inferences that you can draw when you're playing against reasonable declarers, or good declarers. Poor declarers often just sort of don't always do that, but if you're playing against poor declarers, they'll often give you tricks anyway. But there's lots of things you can deduce by when declarer doesn't do the normal thing. When they don't draw trumps first, you want to think, what are the reasons of why you would draw not draw trumps, and what does that tell us about the hand? And you can go from there. When they use a technique to try and get rid of losers, identify which technique they're trying to use, and work out why are they doing that first, or why aren't they drawing trumps first, or you can choose vice versa. Anyway, these were my hands that illustrate some of the points of inferring from declarer's line. Now, a couple of other things I was going to talk about, which I don't have example hands for, but I'll just sort of talk through them, is when declarer's got something really that looks really obvious to do, but they don't do it. What does that tell you about the hand? Okay, so one of these that I often see is that declarer has a singleton. So dummy comes down with a singleton, and you think, okay, they should try and trump some of the losers in that suit. Okay, but they don't do that. Okay, they just completely ignore it. They don't play that suit. What you can infer from that is either they don't have any losers in that suit, or they have a singleton themselves and they can't ruff it, or the final possibility is they have an even more secure way of trying to get rid of their tricks. So they're the three main possibilities of when dummy comes down with a singleton, it looks like they should try and trump things. Three main possibilities of why they're not trying to trump things. One, they don't have any losers in that suit. So maybe dummy's got a singleton and they've got something like ace, king, queen type. So they don't have anything they need to trump. The second one was they also have a singleton, so they just can't ruff anything in that suit. That happens a fair bit, and they won't play on it then. But usually the bidding might tell you a bit about that, but sometimes it won't. And the third one was they had a more secure route of disposing of their losers than trumping them, and that might be a really strong suit in dummy or things like that. Okay, so there's some of the reasons why you can deduce about declarer's hand when you see an obvious sort of play but they don't do it. Okay, so that's the two main things you can do against suit contracts. Against no trumps you don't have, like, you can still infer things, but it's a bit tougher because you don't have this counterplay of is declarer going to draw trumps or are they going to dispose of their losers first. All they're trying to do is build up tricks straight away. But you can infer things from why didn't they hold up a suit? Or why didn't they play on this good suit? So one of the common ones that I see is you see dummy comes down with a good 5 or 6 card suit, and your general thing would be declarer should be playing on that suit. Usually they work on their best combined suit. And dummy suit looks really good. When they don't play on that suit, there's one of two reasons that they don't. Firstly, it's not their best suit. Okay, they've got a better side suit, or they have absolutely nothing themselves in that suit. And very often is the case that they have nothing in that suit, and your partner's got the cards to make that up. Or the other alternative was they had a better suit hidden in their hand, and they're going to play on that side suit later. So they're two of the common reasons of why they don't actually play on a really good suit that comes down in dummy. And you can use that to infer about where the missing cards are. Another thing I mentioned earlier is when declarer decides to hold up a card or not hold up a card. So if declarer's only got one stopper in a suit, they very often hold it up as long as possible or as long as needed. But when declarer doesn't do a hold up play, what this can tell you about the hand is that they're more worried about other suits. Okay, so if there are suits that you're more worried about, you can't afford to do a hold up play, so you have to win. So if declarer wins something and you know they've got no more stoppers in the suit, what this either means is they had a shortage there and couldn't actually do a hold up play, or otherwise they were more worried about another suit. So you can start building a picture of where partner's cards are based on declarer not doing a hold up play. Now, they're the main couple of things that you can do in no trumps, all about inferring about declarer's hand and partner's hand based on their play. There are heaps of more examples. I strongly recommend you go out there and try and play some cards, stop and work out why is declarer doing this and what's this tell you about their hand and also partner's hand. So play a hand, stop after sort of 3 tricks. Think, is declarer, if it's a suit contract, is declarer drawing trumps, or are they going about reducing their losers first? Once you work out which one they're going to do, your second thing is, why didn't they do the other one? What's that tell you about the hand? Start placing the missing cards. It's a really tough skill to use, but very, very useful in building pictures up of where they are. So I recommend just giving it a shot, playing a few random hands and seeing why is declarer doing this and not that, and what you can come up with the idea about the hand. So against suit contracts, are they reducing their losers or are they drawing trumps? What's that tell you about the two options? In no trumps, why aren't they playing on this really good suit? Why aren't they holding up a suit? They're the main things that you want to work on, and sort of work out what do you know about the hands when they do those sorts of things. This skill can also be used by declarer in the sense of, what are the defenders trying to do to me? And they're trying to beat me, what can I do to stop that? So that's a skill for another day, and sort of like working out one and then going to the next step and then going a step further. It's actually quite tricky. But again, another useful skill to build up, but I recommend doing this on defense first, and because how people declare is a pretty well-known idea of what they're trying to achieve. Defense is a lot trickier, and then building the picture from there. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this featured lesson on deducing declarer's line of play, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.